Crime Curious is a true crime podcast that takes an in-depth look into real cases through the lens of a trained investigator and former prosecutor turned judge.
If you are sensitive to expletives, anatomical descriptions, and accurate descriptions of crime scenes, this podcast may not be suitable for you.
Welcome to Crime Curious. I'm Charnell.
I'm not Megan.
You are not Megan. No,
Brain
Megan.
Bath Jason.
Your Brain Bath Jason. Megan is on vacation with her family this week, and shout out to her family. They're all enjoying one another. We love them. They listen. Hi, guys.
Just the middle child.
What?
Just the middle child.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I should say second but child.
That's true. Listen, I have a surprise for you today.
Oh boy.
Okay?
Oh boy.
Do you remember?
Probably not.
You will, because this wasn't too long ago. But it's very rare that Brain Bath Jason gives us case suggestions. You gave us one, a few months ago, and it didn't turn out exactly how you had planned.
It went sideways.
It did.
I mean, it was a good story, but
Right.
it totally was not what I thought it was going to be.
Honestly, when I started researching it, it was not what I thought it was going to be either. But so that's fair. However, you mentioned to me that you were at a family gathering recently, and you sent me a case that your family is connected to, and wanted me to research it. And that's the case I'm covering today. And Jason did not know this prior to.
No, this is fun.
We are a self-produced podcast, so I don't always tell the team what cases we're working. Actually, I very rarely do.
Almost never.
Almost never. It's not like we have staff meetings.
When you're
where
like,
we go
I have a
over
surprise for you, it's a surprise every week.
It is. That's true. That's true. This time it was a bigger surprise.
Special surprise.
Yes, this was a special surprise. Also a surprise that while I'm recording this, I accidentally clicked on something to use a script, which I don't have in our recording stuff. So that was weird. So forgive my face of confusion for those that are on watching on Patreon. Don't know how to get rid of it, so we're just going to roll right past that. But are you ready to dive in? This is the case of Jayne Franolich. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
I think so.
Is that how they pronounced it to you?
Franolich?
Franolich? Because it is spelled Fran, O-L-I-C-H. So F-R-A-N-O-L-I-C-H.
I believe so.
Or Franolich. Franolich. I didn't think that was right.
I don't know if it's itch or ick.
I wondered that myself as well.
I'm not 100%.
Okay. Well, we're just going to call her Erica from here on out. Also, just so you know, your darling previous wife, Mari, who we are both friends with, also recommended this case.
Oh, good.
So it is a mutual case suggestion, and she's probably screaming at us right now going, no, you're saying the last name wrong.
We'll hear about it later. It's fine.
We will. That is totally fine, but we're going to cover Erica's story today. And let's start in the fall of 1986 in the village of Middleburgh, New York. It was the kind of place where people still waved at each other from porches, where Main Street slowed down after dark, and where nothing truly terrible was supposed to happen. But on the night of October 13th, 1986, something did. A young mother named Jayne Franolich stepped into the cool Middleburgh air, walked towards the intersection of Main Street and Railroad Avenue, and vanished so completely that nearly 40 years later, investigators still don't know where she went or who made sure she never came home. Erica was just 26 years old, born August 12th, 1960, as Erica Jayne Poparevsky. Did you...
Sure. We can...
Poparevsky?
Yeah.
Poprafsky.
I don't know the
You didn't
I
hear
don't
her
know.
family
I don't know the
name.
maiden name of that side of the family very
Okay.
well, so
Okay.
I can't correct you if you're wrong.
Oh, wonderful. Because, I do hate it when you correct me when I'm wrong.
It's like one of my favorite things, and I can't do it today.
Barely 5'4", about 100 pounds, with brown hair, blue eyes, and a shy smile that showed 2 slightly protruding front teeth. Erica had a small indentation in her forehead, a mole on her left knee, and a softness to her face that made her look younger than she was. She was a mother, a sister, a daughter, and a woman who had been trying desperately to escape a marriage that had turned dangerous. Erica was from a large family in Waterford, Michigan. She'd met a man named Jayne Franolich in Texas while she was still with her first son's father. She and Richard married soon after, and together they had another son, Ricky. The pair traveled with the construction job that Richard was working and eventually moved back to Michigan to be near Erica's family in 1986. Is all of this sounding familiar?
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe the family hadn't really dived into that stuff with you. I'm not sure, but a little bit.
Grandma, Erica's sister.
Uh-huh.
She's a chatty one now.
Oh, wonderful.
So she did fill me in on a lot of the background.
Okay.
Family history.
Okay. And I did not interview Jason for this because I really wasn't sure how good of a source. I wasn't sure how well you were listening.
Oh, no, good call on your part. I wouldn't have been very helpful. I'd be like, this girl went missing.
You did.
There was some complications that we'll get into, but...
You sent me one news article and was like, hey, I heard about this at a family baby shower this weekend, so why don't you look into it? So just knowing you, I thought it was best to just get my information organically, and if there was anything...
source of information for these stories.
No.
I'm here for the commentary. I'm not.
Yes. Well, they lived with some of... Oh, with that said, I did want to tell you, there's very little news coverage at this point in time on this case, which I know was a whole nother reason why you wanted to cover it. But in terms of actual intimate, how she grew up and things like that, that stuff is not readily available, nor did I feel that it's imperative to the story because this is a missing persons case, and we are trying to, get the word out there and whatnot. But I know there's some issues that we're going to come up at in a minute here, and so I did not want to be disrespectful to the family or anything like that. But they were living so Erica and Richard are living with Erica's family in 1986. They moved from Texas back to Michigan, and at this time, their relationship was very turbulent, and the kids were said to be in the center of the chaos. They did witness this a lot, because remember, they have 2 sons, because Erica has one from a previous relationship, and then her and Richard have a son together. And Richard is older than Erica, and he was said to be very volatile. And according to Erica's family in the media that they have spoken to, he became increasingly abusive. Their relationship had been unraveling for months. In the summer of 1986, Richard took their infant son and moved to Duanesburg, New York, leaving Erica behind in Michigan with her family. So he essentially parentally kidnaps their son and goes to New York. She then follows him to New York to get her baby back. But instead of retrieving Ricky, the son that they shared together, her and Richard decide to reconcile. And Richard actually returned to Michigan to be with her, with their son, and, of course, her other son from the previous relationship, Richard's stepson. Now, this all happened in the summer of 1986. And by the fall, Erica's family has just had enough of Erica and Richard and accuses them of stealing from them to support their drug habit. And then Erica and Richard are just left to fend for themselves. And I don't say that as a knock to the family. I say that they realized they were taking advantage of them, right? They felt that they were being stolen from for the purpose of buying drugs, and they could no longer enable that behavior. They no longer wanted to be a part of that, and so they asked Erica and Richard to move on. You're going to support themselves. If you're going to live in this lifestyle and be like this, these are your decisions, but you can't do it in our home anymore. Moving between friends' houses and living in their car, they decide to go ahead and go back to New York in October. And this is where they made their home in Middleburgh, about an hour from Albany, is my understanding, is where Middleburgh is. So if you'll remember at the beginning, I had kind of described what Middleburgh, New York in 1986 was like. This is how they end up there, okay? And by October, Erica is frightened. She wanted out of the relationship. And on October 12th, 1986, the night before she disappeared, she made a phone call that would become the cornerstone of her case. While at a bar in town, Erica called her brother Dana Poporafsky in Michigan from a payphone, saying that she was afraid for her life and needed to leave Richard. The call lasted nearly 50 minutes, in which Erica claimed that she couldn't call the police to get help because there was actually an officer with them at the bar. She was kind of insinuating that Richard is friends with the police in the area, and so she didn't feel that they would do their due diligence to protect her. Her brother told her that he would buy her a bus ticket, and she just needed to call him back the following day, and they would get the plans together. But he never heard from her. That second call never came. Everything sounding right so far, Jay?
Yep.
Okay. I do love it when my research checks out.
Yeah,
part of the reason why I didn't interview you, too, is because I just wanted to see how good of research I could do.
This is a lot of the stuff that we were, as the story goes.
Good. Okay. The next night, October 13th, 1986, Erica had been fighting inside the bar and on the sidewalk with her husband. Now, what I couldn't find is, was this the same bar that she had called her brother from the night before? Everything just kept saying the bar as if that was insinuated, but I couldn't find that information for sure. If this is just a local hangout where they are, probably, or if it was a different bar from the night before when she made the phone call from the payphone. But she had been seen fighting inside of a bar and then on the sidewalk with her husband. Multiple witnesses were able to confirm this, so we do know that her and Richard were fighting on October 13th, 1986. We do know that the night before, she told her brother that she was fearful for her life and needed to get out. Erica was last seen around 9 p.m. near Main Street and Railroad Avenue in Middleburgh, New York, wearing blue denim overalls and a baggy shirt. She was alone. She was upset, and then she was gone. Now, by November, things had already been spiraling for a while. That was October 13th. Earlier that year, Erica had actually ended up in the hospital with a broken collarbone and suffered a miscarriage. And her family didn't have to guess who they believed were responsible for those two things, right? Here's the thing. She wasn't officially reported missing until the following February 1987. The reason for this is a couple-fold. Richard told anyone who asked that Erica had got on a bus after they argued and just never came back. Not to him, not to her kids. The second thing, it took the missing person warrant 3 months to finally be approved, because my understanding at the time was that the family actually had to go and file the missing person report in person. So they did call the police to report her missing, and they did ask questions at that time, but she wasn't officially listed as a missing person yet until the family could go out, and get the means to do this. But the other thing is, they didn't know at first, being so far away, that she was truly missing. between Richard just saying, hey, she got on, first of all, some time lapsed because they didn't hear from her every single day, right?
Right.
So there was some allowance of time lapse for not checking in with someone and then having to connect the dots of, man, how come every time we try to get a hold of Erica, Richard says she's not available? Then all of a sudden, Richard comes up with this excuse that, well, she got on a bus one day and just never came back. So it did take the family themselves a little time to even figure out she truly was missing. And once they realized that Richard was lying through his teeth, right?
There was something, and I don't know if it was the time of the mid 80s or if it's something to do with the county in New York that she was living in, but they couldn't. The law enforcement wouldn't accept a missing persons report over the phone.
Yes.
So they literally said, in order to file an official complaint, incident, whatever they called it, that they had to do it in person.
Right.
So that's quite a. And there's nothing near. I mean, at the time, there's no airport near here. That was, they were going to be driving, and it was 4 states away.
Right. And in winter, and we don't know what their means were, right? And this is 1986. That's obviously not the policy now. But one big thing that I did want to point out is that questioning did happen. But it wasn't great. It wasn't investigative work. And I could see some news articles where the family were really, really rightfully so upset with law enforcement that they didn't do a full investigation. They lost precious time because they weren't doing an investigation. They did some questioning of Richard, but it wasn't official. It wasn't, and they didn't open an investigation until that official missing persons report was filed, which is just heartbreaking because we always know it's very, very crucial the first 72 hours after a person goes missing. Unfortunately, in this case, those 72 hours, the family didn't even know that she was missing because it wasn't unusual to not hear from her for that amount of time. So between the confusion between, New York and her family in Michigan and the lack of early action meant the case stalled almost immediately. It slipped into cold case territory before it ever really had a real chance. It took the family a while to realize that she was indeed missing, as I said, and then they file it, but her Michigan family assumed that she was still in New York, still with Richard, still trying to navigate the chaos of her marriage. But by February 1987, her family realized the truth. No one has seen or heard from Erica since October. So they go in and they officially file the missing persons report. And detectives quickly determined that Erica did not leave voluntarily. She had no money, no vehicle, no history of running away. She had 2 sons that she adored, and she had made plans to call her brother the next day, and she had been afraid. All of those details were things that the police did not know until opening up an official investigation and interviewing the family. And then she had disappeared in the exact window of time when she was trying to leave her husband or expressed desire to leave her husband. Richard, meanwhile, packed up their son and moved to Vermont shortly after Erica vanished. He built a new life there. He never reported her missing. He never asked police for help. He never participated publicly in any searches. He simply moved on. Investigators interviewed him, of course. They interviewed friends, neighbors, and anyone who might have seen Erica that night. But there was no body, no physical evidence, no confession. Just a frightened woman, a troubled marriage, and a timeline that pointed in one direction. So years passed, and Erica's family never stopped searching. Her sons grew up without their mother. Their son, Ricky, the son that she shared with Richard, spent a lot of time with his aunts and uncles on Erica's side of the family in Michigan and stayed for weeks at the house that his parents had called home while living even in Middleburgh. In a letter written by Ricky to Erica's sister, this would have been Grandma who you talked to, Nada.
Yes, I guess that's her. I always thought it was a nickname. I think that's actually her name, Nada.
Yes, that's how it was printed too, Nada. So Ricky wrote a letter to Nada and he explained to his aunt what family members had told him and what his father had claimed in the past. And this is a quote from that letter. Quote, he said he got so pissed off that he grabbed her and slammed her head off the hood of the car. So who knows? Maybe he slammed her head harder than he thought, or maybe something resulted because of that. End quote. Ricky wrote many letters speculating his father's involvement in his mother's disappearance. And tragically, Ricky took his own life in 2006 and was found by his father and his friend after he had hung himself in the woods. Erica's siblings, continued to push for answers. Her case remained open but cold. And can I just insert how absolutely heartbreaking that this must be for Nada and Erica's entire family to not only have lost Erica so suddenly and with no answers, but then to lose one of her precious children to taking his own life. In 2003, a state trooper, Bill John, began working on Erica's case, sticking up missing person posters around town and re-interviewing people involved in Erica's life. But unfortunately, nothing came from his investigation, and he retired in 2012. He claimed Erica's siblings were helpful throughout his inquiry. However, Richard, who had moved to Vermont with his son shortly after the disappearance, was uncooperative and gave the trooper nothing. That does not surprise me. In 2019, private investigators Greg Overacre and Lou Berry took over the investigation. As part of a nonprofit, they actually have a website, investigationsforthemissing.org, founded by Brianna Maitland's father. That is a victim as well. The men chose to work on Erica's case due to the lack of inquiry at the time of her disappearance. And during the investigation, their investigation into Erica's disappearance, the private investigator received a call about a specific place in the woods near Erica and Richard's home at the time that she went missing, though nothing was found. And this investigator, Greg and Lou, I should say these investigators, they don't believe that Erica got on a bus, as Richard claimed, at all. I'm not certain that anybody really does.
If she had anywhere to go, it would have been back to Michigan.
Exactly.
Like she was still had a relationship with her siblings.
Yes, that's the
and
only place.
She had no other close family or friends.
No, exactly.
But if she were going to leave and go anywhere, she would have shown up in Michigan.
Especially because she had just talked to her brother the night before, and he had said, "Hey, I'll buy you a bus ticket. Let's go." Yeah. You know, that is welcoming her back, right? Like, just because they had their differences before.
Right. So we know she couldn't afford a bus ticket.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
Her husband's story is bullshit.
Right. In 2021, her family partnered with Private Investigations for the Missing, a nonprofit founded by missing person advocate Bruce Maitland, as I said earlier. They worked alongside the New York State Bureau of Criminal Investigation in Princetown. They put up billboards and renewed public attention on Erica's case. Tips continued to come in, but none thus far have led to Erica. Today, Erica Jayne Franolich would be 65 years old. She's been missing for nearly 40 decades. 4, not 40.
You're really old.
She's 40
like
decades.
Egyptian mummy.
I don't, and you know, my notes say 4 decades.
400 years.
Why did I say 40? I don't know. Oh, she's been missing for nearly 4 decades. Her case is still classified as endangered missing, and investigators still believe that foul play is the most likely explanation. The last confirmed truth about Erica is heartbreakingly simple. On October 13th, 1986, she walked through the quiet streets of Middleburgh, New York, and she never made it home. Her family continues to wait for the one thing they've never been given: answers. And I would love to say that there's more information since then, Jay, but there's just not. And that's the way it goes with missing person cases, and why it's so important to cover them, because if someone out there knows something, they know there are still people out here who care, still people out there looking, for her. And so just continuing to get the word out. It's the whole reason why we do this podcast.
Everything we can come up with is, speculation, but historically, if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, it's a duck. But she literally just vanished.
Yes. And that's another reason why no one has been charged. No one's. We're careful not to cover cases on the podcast that Megan's a part of that might be in litigation or in any sort of, someone being charged or that haven't had their due process, right? But in this case, there is nothing. No one has been charged because I think that they truly, without a body, they have missed out on their chance, I think, to be able to get accurate recollections from witnesses, right? Like, and without an actual confession, I think that this is going to be a very difficult one to solve. What we need is a body, and then some DNA evidence from that is really what I think we could hope for. But I mean, people find, I hate to say this, but people find bodies every day. There's just no way she's still alive, that she ran away from her two children. And
odds are increasingly slim that she's just out there doing her thing.
No.
And nobody's ever heard from her in 40 years.
Right. No, I agree. Tragically, I agree. So thank you to you and your family connection there, and to Mari for bringing this to Crime Curious so that we can cover it. And did I leave any detail out that you know of?
No, that's it. I mean, that's the story. She was, it was a rocky marriage. They knew it was. There was concerns about domestic violence issues and him being abusive. I don't think anything was ever documented legally. Like, there was no previous arrests that that anyone talked about. And, she called, was upset, and then just like that, she was gone. And then, no answers, no explanation.
And I really got the impression that when her family had told her that they could no longer live there, they were speaking more about Richard. Like, or if you're going to choose to stay with Richard, we can't have you living here. We can't have this chaos. You're stealing things from us. There's fights all the time. The kids are seeing it.
I think the consensus was that he wasn't anyone's favorite person.
Sure. Really, really didn't sound like it. So, God, these cases are just so tragic because, and they are, from an investigative standpoint, everybody, they're really, really frustrating for investigators too, because you don't have to be a genius to basically be able to figure out, right, where, statistically speaking, what happened to her. But the law does require that there be evidence to it, real evidence to be able to bring charges. And that is what was lacking here due to the factors of not knowing she was missing, her living so far from her family. And so it breaks my heart. And I've seen statements from the family, and I appreciate how vocal they are. I believe that her brother, his actual quote was, "Investigators did a piss poor job right from the beginning." I'm like, oh, yep, that is fair. That's fair. And it was 1986, right? I would hope that things are different now, but I think good police work and shitty police work still happens today in 2026. Yeah. So, yeah. I have a brain bath for you if you're ready for one.
Good.
Now, Jason, you already know about this one because you're involved in it, but I thought that our general audience, they just might want to know what happens in Charnell's dreamscape sometimes when it involves the co-host from Crime Curious. So let me get into our group chat, as I call it. I have to find it, and I'm going to...
You have to show the picture at the end.
I will, and I'll describe it for those that are not can't see our camera. But this was last week. I text to the group chat. I'm writing this here just to be a brain bath later. But last night in Seattle, that's what I call my dreamscape, Megan came to pick me up from wherever the fuck I was, except she didn't bring a car. she brought 3 huge speakers that were taller than me and said I needed to stand next to her in front of them and they would teleport us to our next destination. I protested by telling her that although she is very smart, I do not think that she has perfected the science of teleportation enough for me to feel comfortable, and asked her if we could just call someone else for a ride instead. To which suddenly, in my dream, Jason appears with what I can only describe as My Little Pony to take us to our next destination. It was the world's smallest purple horse. Megan looks at me and says, "This is why I was trying to teleport. I knew he would show up with something ridiculous." Then it ended.
I have so many questions. Like now I'm mad. I'm mad at Megan for something she said in your dream.
I know.
Is this how
Yeah.
wives think?
Yes.
Like this
Like
wife,
when
is this
we-
wife logic?
Yes.
Like how dare you, Megan,
When-
assume I do something crazy?
First of all, you both showed up with something ridiculous
Right.
to take us to our next destination.
mean-
Here I am just wanting to go someplace else, and I call on my 2 best friends, and they each bring something equally ridiculous and not thinking they were ridiculous. So that's what my reality in Deatle is. By the way, my middle name is D, and so that is why I was joking about where my dreamscape is. It's Deatle. Or if it's a nightmare, it's DeVille. Obviously.
Obviously.
Where else would it
Duh.
be? Right? However, I love that you're mad at Megan for something that I
Like she
dreamt
was so
about
she
that
was
she
so
said.
just annoyed like that I showed up with a pony.
This
a
is-
purple pony. A miniature purple pony.
First,
Like listen, you know how hard it is to get one of those?
that's the way that I feel. Like if this were real life, if in some universe this was real, Jason, you 100% would have been like, do you know what I had to do
Right.
to get that miniature pony here? I could be on a wanted list.
Right.
And you're
I did this for you guys.
yes, and you're so mad that we're like, this won't work, buddy. Like, first of all, the logistics. Also, the poor pony. This isn't gonna work.
And I can just picture Megan just with the face of disappointment, not even saying anything, just that heavy sigh and just shaking her head at me.
Because we didn't go with her idea.
Right. Not because I came up with a alternative solution, because mine looked like more fun than hers.
Right.
Because you actually had faith in something that was physical and you could touch. Be like, I don't want to teleport for your giant speaker.
I was like, I don't think that these speakers will work. Like because I wasn't trusting her logic. And I was really worried in my dream about being crushed. Like that somehow our molecules were going to break down and I was just going to be crushed. I can remember feeling that way. And so that's when I'm like, can we call someone else?
Get stuck in another dimension. All kinds of things can happen.
Yes, exactly. But I just love how she was so like, this is why I didn't want to call Jason. I knew he would bring something ridiculous. And you would. The truth is, all of these things are true. I can just annoyingly want a simple solution, and then Megan comes up with this super complicated smart thing. You come up with this very simplistic that's not going to work thing, and meanwhile, we're still not getting anywhere. That's what happens.
I'm not sure how we're going to get home.
Like, I just wanted to leave that place. And I don't know where we were, but it was annoying. Like, it was dark and annoying, and I just wanted out of there. And her speakers weren't going to work. Your pony wasn't going to work. I just wanted to call a cab or something.
I feel like the picture of the pony looks feasible.
Oh, by the way, Jason did develop a photo of us on a pink pony. I will put it up to the camera for those that can see our camera. I'll post it once this episode drops so that anyone that follows us on social media can see what we would have. And just so you know, this tiny pony would have worked. What you brought, well, it might as well have just been a child's plaything. It was incredibly small.
Way too small for 3 people.
Yeah, hence why it was ridiculous. And yes, this is what it feels like when wives wake up and are mad at you for something you did or said in their dreamscape. Because if Matt cheats on me in Deatle, I'm pissed in Michigan.
There is something going.
In reality.
There's a reel going on around, and it's a guy and his wife, and he says she got mad at me because in her dreams I have a girlfriend named Holly, and every time she gets mad at me, I just say Holly wouldn't be mad at that.
Oh my God.
It's great.
That is something Matt absolutely would do.
It's just cruel.
Exactly. I think that a lot of us can relate to, like, logically, I should not be mad about this, but somehow your feelings are hurt and you're still like trying to release that energy from that dream because they are exceedingly real. And so it can be difficult. And sometimes I have had to put myself in check.
And I feel like maybe I should be a little disappointed with you that in your dreamscape brain, you think I would do something that stupid.
You're right. I accept that. In Seattle, I may not be giving you enough credits. But you know what? I think I equally might. The next time that you have a really terrible idea, I'm going to be like, this is like the time you brought the purple pony.
That didn't actually happen.
I know. But I think that's gonna be what starts to happen as we age with our friendship. We're going to start interweaving things that never really happened from our dreams.
There was no pony.
There was no pony. Oh,
let it go, woman.
I can't wait to bring it up again.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm looking forward to our friendship future. Yeah. Also, can't wait to do it for Megan, too. When the next time she says something super smart, let's just be like, oh, really? Is this like the time you wanted to teleport?
Right. Is this a teleportation device?
Yeah, with speakers, with 3 giant speakers.
Stupid.
By the way, the giant speakers were absolutely this huge speaker that I got Matt for Christmas that we put by our pool. They were the exact speaker, which means that I must have been, I don't know. I don't remember. Didn't we use that the last pool day? I think that I might have brought it out.
That was last year.
No, a couple of weeks ago when you guys came over and swam. I think it was in the corner. So I've recently had it in my consciousness, and so that's how that ended up there. Yeah. Not that you asked for that detail, but I just know what speakers, and I'm going to tell you, they're not capable of teleportation. I don't care what she says. I just, listen.
Maybe you got to adjust the settings.
I had a hard time pairing my phone with it, so I'm going to say that I doubt that it can break down our molecules and, put them through time and space.
I'll take a look at it. You're probably doing it wrong.
You're right. That's valid. That's valid. Oh, guys. Well, hey, listen, follow us on social media if you want to, give us a like. And, we try to post. We're going to get better about posting funny things on there. We are going to start doing some videos there too. So, you might want to take advantage if you want to see us, or don't if you don't want to see us.
Yeah, if you haven't seen our faces, just enjoy the audio. I disappointed enough people. Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah, no.
You should definitely subscribe and watch all our videos and upgrade to Patreon.
Join Patreon, get all the bonus stuff. Because if you're
that's when it gets good.
For real, that's where you get the real authentic us. So, not that we're not authentic
and
here,
you can
but
cancel anytime. It's not like it's a gym membership.
Right. We're not the bank or the gym membership.
If you drop $10 in after 2 episodes, you're like, can't believe these 3 people.
They're so offensive.
And
okay.
Stop.
Yeah. You can do that. It only hurts our feelings a little bit. We get over it. We'll have a dream about you in Seattle.
Right. Where you do something stupid.
Yes. Where
you have bad ideas.
Oh, Lord. Anyway, yes. Thank you all so much for listening this week, though. We do hope that you keep it curious.
And keep listening.
Until next time.
Bye-bye.
Charnell here. After everyone has left the studio to shake the gree-gree because Jason and I realized we totally forgot to do it. And we cannot, during a Mercury retrograde, let the energy of chaos win. So we shooketh, and I'm going to put it in this episode, and it counts.
Yeah, used to chase the tears in a different kind of grind. helping little ones, leaving our old selves behind. Charnell, Jason, Megan, a trio strong and true, but the system wore us out, needed something fresh and new. So we flipped the script, found the mic and the beat. From deep investigations to stories bittersweet. Prosecutor, the judge, that's Megan on the mic. Charnell digs the dirt, makes sure the facts are right. Crime curious, yeah, that's the name we claim. Shaking our grief, fanning the curious flame. From global listeners to the brain bag we provide. Keep it curious, keep listening with nowhere to hide. Jason's got the wisdom and the jokes to make us smile. Keeps the energy flowing for every single mile. We dive into the dark where the mysteries reside. Unraveling the truth with nowhere left to hide. Laws and evidence, Megan lays it down with grace. While Charnell's deep research sets the compelling pace. Crime curious, yeah, that's the name we claim. Shaking our great, fanning the curious flame. From global listeners to the brain bag we provide. Keep it curious, keep listening with nowhere to hide. About the raccoon, some secrets we just keep. But every week we're digging secrets buried deep. For every mind that wonders, for every soul that seeks, we're here to break it down in our Crime Curious Speaks. Crime Curious, yeah, that's the name.